My work deals with explorations of the self in relation to others, and how we perceive others, how we perceive ourselves. Sometimes it deals with communication, the breakdown of perception and language. I actually started writing before I started painting and drawing, so that was the way I expressed myself early on. And then I was reading all these books by the Surrealists and life in France at the time of the Surrealists, and I was enthralled with that period. And then I started painting and drawing sort of in that mode. There were particular writers that their language was what I was trying to get in pictorial form. One such writer is Samuel Beckett. Many of his texts inspired some of my pieces. For example, two of his protagonists in his novel Murphy were of great interest to me. One of the characters is Neary, and the other is Murphy, who could control and stop his heart at his own will, while Neary was quite the opposite, always having these heart attacks, quite an emotional counterpart to this other character, Neary. When I was in school, I was actually making pieces that were very abstract. The colors were different. They were darker, they were black, they were purples. There were sort of disintegrating forms appearing as if they were sort of coming together and decomposing at the same time, these images. And then I remember back in 1997, I decided that I wanted to make paintings that were more visceral, that were more, that related more to the body, to the actual experience of the body, of the flesh. I wanted something that perhaps alluded to some kind of femininity, something that sort of attracted the viewer in an ironic way. So there was this sort of decorative pink that really wasn't so decorative after all. It had other meanings, and had different meanings in different paintings. And so for a couple of years I was obsessing with this pink color. Some of the pieces are poetic. A piece such as All a Memory Now contains a three-dimensional latex form of an interior. It's almost like an interior landscape, and through the latex you can see the image of a face, the face of a woman. And this piece is really, it's just a poetic expression of memory, of longing. It relates to other pieces that I have done, where you will see a figure that has another imprint, a mark of something inside its interior, and that can be a face, a rib cage. It's sort of a poetic expression for something that you cannot see in reality, but that exists. It can be an emotion, a longing, a desire, a memory of something that happened in the past. It's a mark upon someone or something. Some of my pieces deal with vision and perception. They deal with an object-subject confrontation that is not always what is expected of the normal, the customary object-subject confrontation. So in some of the pieces there is a figure looking into a mirror, for example, but instead of seeing simply their own reflection, there may be the reflection of another face, not their own, or of their own face and another face. The piece Angle of Immunity is a piece in the exhibition which deals with this subject matter, and it was inspired by two pieces by Samuel Beckett, one called Rockabye and another shorter play called Film. And in film, there is an object that is pursued by E, an O for the object, which is pursued by E, the I. And the I sort of has to stay within a certain degree, a 46 angle degree, in order to be able to see this object that it's pursuing. And that idea fascinated me, and I used that in several pieces to inspire different paintings. I've painted in two different styles. One is using a palette knife, which creates a very layered surface. It's almost like a surgical process. It's a sort of a palimpsest with different layers. If you look closely at the surface, you see all these sort of scars and undertones, and it's quite a laborious activity. And then there's another style which is very, very immediate, where it looks a little flatter, it's sort of two techniques that I've been using. In a piece called Cake Words, Cake People, this is one of the only paintings that has actual text in it. And the cake is decorated, instead of with like flowers around the cake, it has language. The words expressed there are, I love you means I like you. And it sort of conveys another sense of meaning, perhaps, that someone has created, as opposed to the customary expression of these sentiments. Some of the imagery in my work stems again from ideas that I found remarkably similar to things that I found in the work of Beckett. For example, in one piece of his, a play, a figure is thrown on stage, and he keeps being thrown on the stage, and above him, from the rafters above, come dangling down these items that he just cannot, every time he tries to go and grasp them, they're taken away. So in a way, one of the images that I incorporated into my paintings was the image of the heart kind of dangling from above, as if that too could just arrive in your life and be taken away also. Another image comes from fairy tale. I've been doing a lot of things with fairy tales, with castles, the image of of Cinderella, the Prince Charming, that sort of thing. But those are just entering the works that are shown here in the exhibition. As an adolescent, again, I was always reading, and I was attracted mostly to foreign literature. I was quite a romantic sort of persona, reading a lot of poetry and French literature. And I was attracted to any kind of journal, personal journals, you know, like Camus and Gide, and also amorous literature, the famous love stories. That was always something that I was intrigued by. And I think that has a lot to do with my current work, sort of the relation between people, the romantic side. And that's what my work is about.